part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hey, this is Chase Smith, founder and CEO of Press Play Podcast. You may have heard me on the Orange is Oranger Cleveland Browns podcast with Jeremy Powell, now wonderfully hosted by Holly Wetzel, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast with Sam Amico, or my own podcast, the Chase Smith Podcast. I wanted to take a few moments to talk to you about a brand new subscription-based podcast we're offering this football season, the Press Play Sports Podcast. This premium podcast feed will send all of the sports podcasts offered on the Press Play Podcast Network to one central feed. Yes, you can still follow and subscribe to all of our individual shows for free on every podcast platform. But if you wanted to consolidate your podcast feed and listen to them all in one location, the Press Play Sports Podcast is for you. I'm talking the Orange is Oranger Browns podcast with Holly Wetzel and Jeremy Powell, Red Guy and Rhoda, Sable Brothers on the Baseline, Cavs on the Break, the Dennis Maniloff Show, the Ball Card Show, the Premium Fantasy Podcast, a Swing in a Tribe MLB podcast, and the Tim and Shipe Show, a college football podcast, all in one feed. All 9 of our sports shows curated into one single podcast feed. Out the door, you're looking at $5.36 a month after tax. That's $5.36, just about the cost of a drink at Starbucks. And this is only offered on Apple Podcasts. You can't get this anywhere else. It's an Apple Podcast exclusive. Just go to the search bar and search Press Play Sports. It'll come up and you can subscribe from there. We're excited to offer this consolidated, curated sports feed for you to enjoy. And as always, thank you so much for listening and your support. Thank you for downloading the Chase Smith Podcast, proudly part of the Press Play Podcast Network. In this episode, I interview social influencer Sir Yacht, a.k.a. Joey Kinsley. We discuss the pressures of always being on, his journey in digital media, and of course, the Cleveland Browns. Let's get it! Here with the infamous Sir Yacht, a man known for many things, most notably, probably the most national thing, Sir Yacht, the Big Ten college football last year is where really kind of started to take off. Maybe some of you remember him from downing a can of Skyline chili in front of Paul Brown Stadium. That kind of made the rounds. Sir Yacht, thanks for coming on the show, man.
No, thanks for having me on. It's always good. I haven't done podcasts. I just did one before this, but I haven't done one in like 2 or 3 months. So it's always fun to do. So I'm honored to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So right before you came on, dude, you just released like this banger of a parody song. It said, "I need OBJ to play" to the tune of "Stay" by Kid Laroi and the Biebs. Sir, yeah, excellent work, man. That's going to be, that's a very easy one to substitute as you're hearing "Stay." It sounds great, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I started, I used to make parodies all the time, like maybe like once a month or something. I stopped like 2 years ago and I don't know why. I just like forgot about it. But I was like, man, like I had an idea for a video today and for whatever reason, I didn't have enough content behind it to make it a good video. So I'm like, all right, I need to think of something real quick. I haven't done a sports parody in like 2 years. What's a good song that's trending right now? "Stay" by Kid Laroi. And then it turned into "Play," something with OBJ because he's injured.
And
so
it
then
rhymes.
Wrote the song. Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that it rhymes. So wrote the song, then recorded it, edited all the vocals, shot the music video, edited the music video, put it up. So that was all in a one-day affair. So I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna try and do them. I'm gonna try and do them once a week. It's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna do it. It was a lot of fun.
That's incredible. And the vocals, man, I gotta say, like angelic voice coming over there.
Thank you. Auto-tune helps. Auto-tune helps, no doubt.
But you nailed the sound too. Like that song has a very unique like sound, and you nailed it. Like you got.
Thank you. I've listened to it a lot. It's. I mean, like somebody's like, man, use way like first comment like, and I just put it up. Like I worked 8 hours on this video. Yeah. Some guy comments in 15 seconds. Oh, you should use less auto-tune. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. But also like, Kid Laroi has such a great voice and it's so much higher. Yes. Like his vocal range is just so much better than mine. Like I don't have I have a decent singing voice, but some people just God's gift, talent is amazing. Dude, so, yeah. And like, if I had a great studio or whatever, I wouldn't have used much autotune. All right, Mr. Adam Jones, 47992 something, use your social security number at the end of your Twitter name.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man. But anyways, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, Kid Laroi, there was a clip on my Instagram homepage of one of his concerts. And dude, there were so many people there and he was so hype and so good on stage, and he didn't have to sing that song "Stay." They all just took it over, and it was.
I think I've seen that one.
It was pretty impressive.
He's 17 years old. I think he's a superstar. I mean, the kid is.
Dude, I didn't even know about him. He was on
thing.
SNL. He was on SNL with Miley Cyrus, and they sang the song before he dropped "Stay." What was
Without You?
Yes,
the guitar one. Then Miley Cyrus is on the remix of it. I mean, the kid. I mean, he's 17 years old, and I envy this guy because we just dropped the song you just said, and this dude's already got like two biggest songs. He's 17. And he has Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber on him. Like. Good for that. I mean, he's
good for him.
Crazy. No, but it's like, you can't be like, you'll never be happy if you're envious of people. You just gotta be happy for him. And I'm happy. He's so talented. Like the kid is just gonna.
Yeah. And they're great. They're great songs too. So that helps.
Oh, they're so good.
Hey,
so good.
All right. Let's talk about something. You mentioned that after 8 hours of like really hard work and something you're really proud of, 15 seconds in, this Adam Social Security guy just like automatically hates it, man. And what you do, you very public, very vulnerable, putting like yourself out there, man. How do you deal with haters, man? How do you deal with people who just like crap all over ideas or things you get really excited about? I'm sure that can be difficult.
No, okay. So it used to be really difficult. Right now it's not. To kind of just dive into how I got started, my first ever video I made right after the Browns went 0-16. So this is December 31st, 2017, leading into 2018.
Yeah. You jumped in the lake.
I was talking about the lake. I didn't jump in for a little bit, but I was like, man, I should jump in the lake. But people really thought I was going to. So anyways, I'm just like basically scouting out places for Hugh Jackson to jump in the lake because he said he would do it if they went 1-15 again. Well, they went 1-16. So anyways, this video blows up because Chris McNeil, Reflog18 retweets it. It gets on Sports Center, Snapchat. Just the right people saw it. It's my first ever video. I had like 1,500 followers at the time. I'm just so like, I was so like, this is awesome. And then this one kid from like, I think he was from St. Ed's, got 16 likes, like replying to my tweet or like quoting or something and saying, this is the most cringe thing I've ever seen. Like, don't ever like, this is so embarrassing. You should be so embarrassed. Blah, blah. Anyway, this stuff. Meanwhile, my thing has like thousands and thousands of like likes and retweets and hundreds of thousands of views. I let this 16 like thing. I didn't make another video for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. But then I finally made a verbal commitment to myself. I was like, there might be an avenue with this content thing. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to start making videos, but I'm also going to tell myself that I'm not going to care what people think of me. And, I see this guy and I think it's the funniest thing. Like the guy is like, I don't think a lot of people realize like how much work people put into this stuff, but whether they do or not, I don't care, because I'll give you one example. I was a media member for the NFL draft with Bleacher Report in April. And it was the coolest thing ever. I'm so blessed. And it's because of my people that follow me, that like me. It's the people that are the haters. Okay. You think Bleacher Report's coming to me and they're like, we want to bring you on, or, we want to do this. But we got to find out your percentage of people that hate you and hate your tweets. And if it's below, whatever X amount percent, then we can't work with you. They don't care. So these people are helping me, get to wherever I want to go. And that's the way I look at it. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, the people that are like, man, I love your content, or like, this is great. Like, it makes me happy. That's the reason I do it. It means everything. But the negativity or the haters the haters pay the bills. The haters pay the bills. So that's how I get over it. Yeah. Because I go to sleep every night, close my phone. If I don't like something, if someone makes something mean about me, you know what I do? I shut off my phone. I go get some air. I go, thank God for what a great day something is, whatever. And I move on with life. Twitter isn't reality. It's okay. Yeah. Well, life moves on. Tyler Creator, the funny, like, he's like so controversial, but he had the funniest quote one time. He's like, LMAO, how is cyberbullying even real? Just close your laptop. And it was like this funny joke, but it's like, I don't know. I just closed my laptop. And also, like I said, they pay the bills.
Yeah. I think it helps when you don't know the people, like kind of a different type of cyberbullying, when they're people you see every day at school, and then they kind of start like rumors, like that's a little different than some random person on Twitter you don't know, or you're like
100%. It's funny too. When those Big Ten things were happening, we could go into another rabbit hole about that, because man, that stuff was crazy. But there's a guy that gave me a death threat. So I was like, interesting. I mean, it's weird because it's usually like, it's usually a guy that he has the social security at the end of his, name or whatever. And he's like blank. But it was a real person. And I was like, interesting. So I went to his profile and it said he was a marketing director for his company. I'm like, interesting. And then his bio, his link was his company profile page, which had his personal cell phone number on it. So I call this guy. That gave me a death threat. And I was like, hey, my name's Joey. You might know me as Sir Yacht. You recently just gave me a death threat. He didn't tag me. He just like said, I hope somebody jumps Sir Yacht, or I can't wait to jump Sir Yacht one day, or whatever it was. So I said, hey, I don't appreciate that death threat. I said, I don't want to do this. I made up like I was talking to my legal team. I was talking to my friend who just graduated from Case Western.
Yeah.
But he didn't even know that. But I'm telling him like, look, you could get fired for this shit, man. Like you probably don't mean it. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I think your videos are really funny and things like that. They say it's stupid shit. He's caught off guard. He doesn't think, but it's like, it's true though. Like the people that type up stuff, they're not going to do this necessarily in real life. So
there's you ever seen Shrill on Hulu? It's with Adie Bryant. And season 1.
No, I've heard of it. I've not gotten.
She goes the troll and she goes to the troll's house, and it's very similar to that experience. He's very much
wait, is this real or is it scripted?
No, Shrill is a scripted show.
Oh my God. That's what I want to make a TV show about. Anyways, a real life stuff. But anyways, go ahead.
Dude. So yeah, what is it like? I mean, cause you start saying, I want to develop this content. Cause that's when I first saw you, man, jumping in the lake. And I was like, dude, this dude is crazy, but it's very entertaining. But that's not all you were doing, man. You were like making these awesome, like college, like Snapchats and TikToks. And then you're like traveling to places like we're like very much just like more than just sports content. We almost collabed on a project with the Orange is Oranger podcast. We had talked about having you come on and be like Freddie Kitchens. We talked, this was like 3 or 4 years ago, before everything, like before he got too big for us, man.
No, that's not it.
No, it was a lot. But then, bro, all of a sudden Pat McAfee's saying your name. Barstool Sports is like, Sir Yacht saving college football. A little scary. I mean, because I know you had sources telling you things, because we've been there on the podcast. We've had high profile people say, hey, this is happening. And you're like, what do I do with this? And then one thing leads to another, and someone like, it gets out of hand. And then all of a sudden, like your hand's shaking as you're trying to like type a reply to someone.
That stuff was wild. So like, just to give you like a high level thing, right now, I don't do any of that anymore because any of the what? Like that's the reporting, like any of that stuff. Because I had a guy who has a connection with a couple athletic directors in the Big Ten, the ACC. I won't say any more than that. So that is legitimate. How legitimate the information is consistently, I don't know. The college football stuff seemed to be good. The NFL stuff, I maybe got one thing right out of like 25 things that he told me, and I report all. And I was like, man, I just can't like do this anymore. Because it is a lot. I mean, I'm so thankful because like I had Pat on my old account, I had Pat McAfee and Big Cat follow me and stuff. But
what happened to there? So like this, you've had to like start a second almost following influencer career. Like why did it get suspended? What happened?
So it's called DMCA, which is like digital music copyright something. And I've had that account since 2013. I tweeted just random sports stuff. And you can't, if you don't own the music that you put in, for example, the last thing I posted July 25th, 2020. I got dinged for it in May of 2021. It was weird. It was a Baker Mayfield hype video that had Till I Die by Machine Gun Kelly in it. And because I didn't own the song, I couldn't post it. So it was a strike on my account. Well, by that time I had 5. That was my 5th one. There was like one day where I got 3 strikes, or like 3 DMCA strikes. And it was from stuff like in 2013, 2014, because music labels did like a sweep of things. And like people post stuff all the time. And I like warn people, I'm like, that's how I got my account. The only reason my account got it is because the videos that I posted, they had a lot of views. If they would have gotten like 10 views or like 3 likes or something like that, I probably would still have my account.
Something like what I post. So I don't have to worry about DMs.
No, I didn't say that. No, but I've had videos that like didn't like do necessarily great. And
sure.
but they had a little bit like, but so for example, the Stay video, I didn't own the beat. And hopefully Twitter isn't listening to this podcast.
They are.
Okay. They won't say it. But if I was gonna
Jack
say,
follows.
I would have said,
yeah.
Okay. But if Jack, so you can ignore his part, Jack. But if I was going to say it, I would have said that I made a burner account that I posted the video on, and I tweeted the video link onto my page. So that way I don't get a DMCA strike. But these are things that I learned from other people. I'm like, oh my God, like Barstool does it all the time. If you look, they post a video and has like music and stuff like Dana Beers or whoever. And they post it and it says and it says some like weird name. You're like, who the hell is this guy?
11 Ketchup.
It's like 11 Ketchup. Yeah. Like I just made up a name. So yeah, so that's like you do that, and that's the game on Twitter. But it's so messed up because on TikTok, you can do that and it links the song to, it gives the artist a stream. On Instagram, if you post on Reels, it links the song to the artist, and the artist gets a stream for that. And YouTube, like I post and like they won't let you monetize and make money on it, respectfully so, but they'll put ads onto your video so that the people that own the song get paid for it from the ads. So like, it's frustrating that Twitter did it, but like look, you sign up for it. You're supposed to read the 30-page term and condition things. Nobody does, but no one nice little lesson. I'm thankful my account's getting built up a little bit now. So
yeah, man. Yeah. So as if all that wasn't enough, man, you just dropped like your personal single, Suburban Cowboy Anthem. What is the end game here, man? Like, are you just looking to do everything, and like, are you looking to drop an album? Like, what's the game with this stuff?
So I'll before I dive into that stuff real quick, I want to tell you how that song kind of came to be, because it was kind of a cool story. So I'm making TikTok since like, COVID happened. And, I wanted to branch out a little bit here and there from like the Ohio stuff, Midwest stuff I was making. So I was like, all right, let's do like a video about how every country song sounds. Yes. And I was in my car and I wrote lyrics. It took maybe 5 minutes to write. And the chorus, it was like 15 seconds long. It ends up getting 1.3 million views on TikTok because Priscilla Block, who's a country artist, duetted it. The drummer for the band, Ataris, they're super famous for their punk cover of The Boys of Summer by Don Henley. He made a like mashup to it. All these artists kind of mashed it up or reacted to it, some other country artists. And then this one guy produced a like trap remix to it. So I contacted him like, this is amazing. Can we buy the beat from you? Can you make a full beat to this song? And this is like August 2020, September 2020. So it's been like a year in the works, because like we've let it marinate. We've just like put together some ideas, like, this isn't good and whatever. And then finally, like, it came together. We were working with a label in New Jersey, and then we put it out, 4 or 5 days ago. So that was so fun. It's just like, it was a meme song that kind of turned into it, but it's like a real thing about kids in the suburbs like myself that are from the suburbs that want to be country. So that's what it was. So my band is Maui Ski Club. We've been doing this since 2016. We had a 2-year hiatus. Then COVID hit, so we put out 1 or 2 songs. So the end game, I think, is to just diversify as much as I can. Like, I want to be the greatest entertainer and musician crossover. Like Lil Nas X, what he's doing is really cool. It's controversial, but like the business model of him like making content to supplement the career. Now the career is taking off. I think another great thing too is like Dave Portnoy, another controversial person. But
another listener to the pod, another listener,
no, in front of the show.
Yeah.
And what I love about him is that, he does the stock stuff. He does the pizza reviews. He does his show. He just had a podcast. He's starting to do a show with Josh Richards, BFFs. He's diversifying content so that not just, I want to do this, not just Browns fans, but other people, music, like all this stuff. So that's the end goal, is just like diversifying as much as I can. So it's not, I'm just narrowed down for one thing. I'm not known for Browns, Jake Paul music, whatever, build a bunch of things.
I completely forgot about the whole like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, like that's box thing. And now it's like
crazy.
That's a whole nother conversation, dude. I think the thing that sticks out to me about Dave, I mean, people say what you want about Dave. The dude just has his finger on the pulse and stuff. I remember when the day that the NIL stuff dropped for college sports. He was like, yo, we're starting a college representation branch of Barstool. Who wants to sign up? And like that day, I have no idea what went on behind the scenes, but they were like, we have this like representation brand, and here are the people that are already on it. Which I just thought like that's brilliant. And they bought rights to a football bowl, like a college football bowl. Did you hear about this?
In Arizona, I would have Arizona Bowl or something. And then he has, they're going to be covering MLB, which is such a smart move for the MLB. Like you can say what you want about him and, things that he's done rightfully. I mean, controversial. Yes. But the man, what I love especially about him is he doesn't care what anybody thinks. He's going to give you,
unfortunately, no.
He's going to give you a pizza review of 6.2 to your face outside of your restaurant. He's not going to cater to you. And it's to a fault sometimes, but what I love about him, he's a straight shooter, and he can recognize talent from a mile away. He can recognize when something's trending or an opportunity from a mile away. So it's crazy impressive to see what he's done with Barstool. He's changed the game.
I don't want to get you in trouble because you do work for a content place. You betcha. But I mean, dream job. I mean, Barstool kind of like.
No, you're not getting me in trouble. I mean, I think what's great about Barstool is they're like, I think a great way to look at it is like this company. I don't think a lot of people know, but this company is very similar to Barstool, and not necessarily a smaller scale because like they have 2.5 million followers on Facebook, million on TikTok, whatever. And I'm like a part of this company now. It's so cool. Cool. Great company. But Barstool's the ones that are like kind of going through the landmines. They're making this mistakes, maybe, or whatever, but they're laying like a foundation. There's like a blueprint to do this stuff for like an independent company that's trying to do stuff like that. So yeah, they're quote unquote a competitor. But I think at the end of the day, like making content, like, I mean, people on like before ESPN like was super wacky about Pat McAfee's show, they still do it now, but for a little bit, they didn't have guests on, but they have like Dan Orlovsky supports Pat McAfee supports this guy, Big Cat supports other people that might be on ESPN or whatever. So I think it's just like, we're here to have fun. I'm here to have fun. I compete against some person, but I don't just consume Barstool content. I don't just consume my own content. Right. I consume anything. It doesn't really matter. So competition is kind of a loose thing, but I promise you will not get me in trouble.
Is it hard always feeling like you have to be on and like, oh man, I have to come up with something funny like 4 times a week, or, if I don't get a post, I get so many, like, is that hard to like keep up with?
So we were talking about this off air, and I know you have a lot of personal experience with this. I mean, dude, like, I make videos and it's not like I have like thousands of people like here as I'm posting them. Like that's a different level of like, holy cow. But yeah, I think that I've been caught. I mean, it's hard. I think every content creator's fear is to not be relevant, because if you're not relevant, you're not getting views. You're not getting views. You're not paying the bills. So it's tough. But you have to, like, I started going full time in this in February when I was making my town videos. Cause I let go from my job from COVID. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to finally do this thing. I'm ready to do it. I was just hold on. But then I was like, man, if this video doesn't do well, like I won't be able to like make like pay the bills and stuff eventually, because people want to work with me because my views are low. But the reason those videos did well is because I didn't have any intention other than I'm going to make a video and have a bunch of fun doing it. So you get caught in it sometimes because you want it to do well, but at the end of the day, like you have to have fun. And like, to kind of answer your question in scale is like, always being on, it's like, it's draining. So I spent 2 months last year around this time in New York for Worst Cooks in America. And those are like 12, 14-hour days, and you are always on. And like, yeah, we're moving on our feet and stuff like that, and we're sore. But man, I'm telling, I mean, you know this for sure. Like always being on, and like you said, people expecting, something like from you each day or like 5 days a week, and it's mentally draining. And I feel like that trickles down to like your physical thing as well. So don't get me wrong. Like I'm not a welder. I'm not, like a construction person, or like, working on roofs or putting tar on the ground, but like it can be exhausting. And especially if you let the people that hate on you, like drive you down and whatever, man. It's some people like give up and it's bad. Fortunately, I'm a little bit of a dingbat and I have a screw loose in my head and I love that stuff. I think it's so funny. So yeah, I mean, I think if you go at it the wrong way, I think it definitely can pressure you. And I definitely get caught up in that sometimes. I mean, I'm human, you know, who doesn't have human emotions? Like that's why people like whoever, Raheem Mostert, or whoever, the guy from Mostert, running back for the 49ers, he got injured. People are saying death threats to his wife. How much of a scumbag do you have to be to send death threats to somebody's wife because her husband got injured? Like, yeah. So I can see why that could bother somebody, but it's just like, at the end of the day, if I don't like it, I'm gonna close my phone. Yeah, I'm gonna close my computer. So
well, good for you, man. We were talking pre-show. For those of you who don't know, I'm a pastor, full-time ministry for 12 years. I'm a student pastor and worship leader. And where do you do that? In Columbus, Ohio. I'm at a Vineyard Church here in Columbus, Ohio. So I lead like our worship team and our creative elements on Sunday morning, and then deal with like our student ministry programming, 6th through 12th graders here in Southwest Columbus.
That's so awesome. Where is it? Like in Columbus, or like
Grove City? So it's like Columbus is a clock face, like the 7 o'clock.
That's awesome.
My family and I live in Columbus. But man, it's like when you go out in public, when you go to a restaurant, when you're anywhere, like, oh, Pastor Chase, what's up? Like you just like, and not that you have to put on like a facade or be someone else, but you're just, it's hard to like relax sometimes.
Well,
and
maybe it's like teachers too. No, I mean, like I can be, look, my brand is sometimes being a degenerate. So I can go out to my town bar and get, I don't want to swear in front of a pastor, but
oh man, you don't have to
crap face. You know what I mean? Like I can get sloppy drunk because people know me as this like guy that like makes videos and just has a lot of fun doing it. Whereas if you're like a pastor or like a teacher and you want to have a few drinks, you probably should go to a different town, particularly not Grove City. That's known as a very Christian, you know, town. I mean,
when we moved here, we were like, oh, that's Grove Tucky. People there. It's just like,
that's so funny.
But yeah, I don't know. And it's not that I'm trying to be someone else. It's just that pressure of, oh man, everywhere I go, people are going to, it's kind of like living in a glass house. People always have something to say about everything you do and say sometimes. And I think more so, maybe not so much Grove City, Sir Yacht. My wife and I lived in North Carolina for 5 years, and the Bible Belt's a different animal than the Midwest a little bit.
Oh, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
So
yeah.
I know digital content creator and ministry, different worlds, but I totally relate to the, just the pressures of always kind of having to be on, and it sucks, man. I'm a people pleaser. I'm not good at saying no. And I do care what people think. Like that's not,
that's tough though. It is. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I'm a devout Catholic, so I go to church every week. You know, I'm always like praying and stuff like that. Like I know it's kind of the opposite sometimes of what I do online. But I really do appreciate, you know, my priest and the priests I go to. And I went to Ohio Wesleyan in Delaware. Nice. I was in Athletes in Action. Did stuff with Ohio Wesleyan, Ohio State. It was, you know, Christian Bible study stuff for athletes in particular, but anybody could have showed up. And I really do appreciate those people. And I think I got an inside glimpse of what you do, because man, you really do have to be on. It is like a glass house. It is. And that's hard. It's very rewarding, I would imagine, very rewarding for you, but I think definitely a tough job.
So yeah, I figured ministry and then heck, entertainment, you know, what better place to be if you care what people think, man. Like, I don't know. Why am I doing this to myself? Hey, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we'll talk about the Browns.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. We read one book a month and then we talk about it. Books like Stephen King's The Shining or Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you're on the hunt for book recommendations and enjoy sparkling conversation, come read along with us and then listen in.
Hey, it's JD from the Hyman Podcast. I created this podcast to have hard conversations. Conversations that make us human but are also wildly uncomfortable. Conversations that help give voice to the voiceless and to the marginalized. Now you can listen to the entire first season on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Consider this your personal invitation to join the conversation.
Hello, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of the Producing While Asian podcast. Join us to listen in on conversations with everyone who identify from producers to non-producers who all are part of the AAPI community. There's all that and more on the Producing While Asian podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Want to hear more about your favorite TV shows and movies that are on countless streaming services?
Then listen to Up Next with your new favorite hosts, me, Kristen Aviles,
And me, Christina Walter.
Every other week, we'll highlight one genre, but 2 movies or TV shows, one old and one new.
We'll let you know what's hot and what's not from your favorite
or least favorite
streaming services.
And be sure to stay tuned to the end of each episode where we shout out an artist whose name you should know for their talent in the industry.
So follow us to stay up to date with your favorite hosts from Up Next,
a part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
All right, back here with Sir Yacht, the one, the only, and let's talk about the Browns, man. I don't know if this is your bread and butter, because let me tell you, man, I love your where am I going to next videos. Like, I think those are brilliant, man. But let's talk about the Browns, because you love the Browns. I love the Browns. I don't have a Browns podcast anymore, so I really just want to talk to someone about the game. Man,
Let's talk.
Oh my gosh, dude. All right. We should have, that's another game in Kansas City we should have won. What are your takeaways from the game? Let's start there.
So first, I was on another podcast before this and I addressed this. People were so negative.
What's the pod? Let's drop a name. Who was it?
Barking Browns. It was like Nick Carnes and like Jacob Roach. Like they're 2 good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Nick always puts out like these really positive.
Nick is very positive.
Tweets. Yeah, he's awesome. He gets hate too. It's just so funny. Like he just puts out positive stuff for the most part. But people were so negative after the loss, and it's just like, holy cow! Like, yeah, it was like deflating, like to lose that way after like leading, for probably 90% of the game.
Yeah.
But comparatively to last year, we got blown out by the Ravens first game of the year. We then finished 11-5. We have the coach of the year. We have a great executive. I mean, Malik McDowell, he, had legal trouble. That was his first ever football game because he got arrested. He was playing with Seattle's 2nd round pick, and he's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, like after week 1. We're not going to face a better offense this season. True. If we play unless we play them again in the AFC Championship game or something like that. Even if we play the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, we get that far. That is arguably going to be one of, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, one of, if not the greatest tight end of all time, one of, if not the greatest offensive head coach of all time. You go against all these things, a team that averages 30 points a game typically, and you only lose by 4 points.
Yeah.
And you're the Cleveland Browns. You're the laughingstock of the sports world for 2 decades. Look how far we have come. So yeah, but that's so great that the expectations are, how do we not beat the Chiefs? They went to the Super Bowl last year. They won the Super Bowl the previous year. We're going to be just fine. We play the Texans, the Bears, and the Vikings in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
There's a very real possibility that we are 3-1 by week 5.
Yeah. And I love that perspective. Like we're upset and we've expecting ourselves to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, sold out. Who knows? What was it? 70, 80, 90. I don't even know how many people there. It was packed.
Yeah.
And it does speak to how far we've come. I don't know if Baker was throwing that ball away. I'm not
his press conference. I don't know.
I'm not convinced that he was throwing that ball away.
It was suspiciously close to that wide receiver and online. So, what does Baker gets all this hate? What advantage does he get about lying about that? People are still going to be like Colin Cowherd. All these people like he threw an interception. He's not the guy. He chokes in big moments, which isn't true, by the way. But what advantage does he get from lying about that? I don't know. But regardless, if he didn't get tripped up, that ball was going to either be thrown away, or I guarantee you, whoever that ball was going to would have been caught. Or at least it would have been incomplete pass run, but it would have been close. It wouldn't have been an interception.
I believe in my heart that he was throwing it away. My head is telling me, bro, there's no way he'll throw that ball away. Like he has a way stronger arm than that. It's not like dude, Patty Mahomes threw a sideways like ball 60 yards in the Super Bowl. Like it's not like big. I don't know. Here's my take about the game. We couldn't stop the Chiefs. We were never going to stop the Chiefs. I wish Stefanski would have gone for it. Fourth down, we were, I think, up 29-27 with like 7 minutes to go. We were on like our 30. I don't know why he didn't go for it then. We just fumbled a punt. I think it led to like their 70-yard bomb actually. But we weren't going to stop them. There's no way we're going to stop them. They're going to score, shorten the field, add the extra like end zone end defender to our team, maybe get a field goal, and then get the ball back with more time and do the dang thing. Like,
yeah. I think what he's probably thinking is, you just had Nick Chubb fumble the ball and they got a 30-yard drive, and then Gillen fumbles, he gets it, and then they get it at the 15-yard line. So I think you're giving the Chiefs like these. I mean, it's ridiculous. He threw a 70-yard pass to Tyreek Hill, which was a blown thing by John Johnson third. So I think all these things, I think Kevin's like, look, we might not be able to stop them, but I think it'll give us time later on maybe to, score or something like that. So I think that's a game where you really need a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. Anthony Schwartz killed his first game. Like he's going to be a wide receiver one day, whether it's here or somebody else. Donovan Peoples-Jones and him are the future of this team. I love Odell, I love Jarvis, but when those guys get older, I'm hoping it's Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz. Because my girlfriend went to Auburn, and I've watched Anthony Schwartz play for the past 3 seasons. That dude I love Gus Malzahn, but he has faded off as a coach. And Bo Nix is not a good quarterback. So Anthony Schwartz, I thought he was going to go to the Steelers. I really did. And I was like, my God, this dude's going to go to the Steelers. So when I found out we drafted him, I was like, yes. But anyways, that's a game where you want somebody like Odell, a veteran, because Schwartz had a drop in the fourth quarter. That would have been a big completion. And you need a guy like that has some speed that you can rely on, like a Travis Kelce or a Tyreek Hill. I mean, that's why. I mean, aside from Patrick Mahomes being a stud quarterback, he has guys that he can count on in the fourth quarter in huge moments. Mm-hmm. So that's something that rookies kind of fade off in, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Scale of 1 to 10, 1 not at all, 10 like DEFCON level, like concern. Where are you at with the Browns? I'm like at a 2.
Negative, whatever. If I go negative, I would do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't be. If I was more relaxed, about the Browns, I would have a heart attack.
All right. So if we lose to the Texans, where does that put you? If we start 0-2 and lose to the Texans at home, it's got to go to like a 7, like fandom wide. It's got to, it has to go.
No. I mean, fandom wide, it's going to be like an 11. My concern, honestly, just the proof in the pudding type of thing would be like, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd be like pissed. I'd be like mad, but I think it'd be like a 4 or 5. I'd be concerned a bit. I'm like, all right, it's a must win against the Bears at that point. But
loser leaves town. Dude, the Tyrod Taylor revenge game. The line's like 12.5 Cleveland. I think that's way too high. I think it's going to be a close game. We always have a hard time playing them. We struggled against them. They had Deshaun Watson's a quarterback. They like spanked us Baker's rookie year in Houston. Last year it was weird because of the wet. There's like a freaking hurricane tornado monsoon in Cleveland. Was absurd. There was like back-to-back weeks where the weather was awful, and Watson was like leading a drive in the fourth quarter. Like they always play us tough, and I'm a little concerned that we're just penciling in a W for this team. And
so I don't want to be cocky. I don't want to be whatever. But I think 12 is too low. I honestly think they're going to win by at least 17. I'll tell you what's not going to happen again. I don't think Baker's going to throw an interception like that. I don't think Nick Chubb's going to fumble the ball. I don't think Nick Chubb is going to. I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns again. I think Kareem Hunt's going to have at least 1, maybe a reception 1. And yes, the Texans have given us trouble, but they've given us trouble with Deshaun Watson. And I love Tyrod Taylor, and he was a Brown, and he's a great guy. And he's had such bad luck in the NFL, unfortunately.
Horrible
but
luck.
I just
Horrible
don't.
luck.
He got stabbed by a doctor.
Bro, when the team's like, hey, we have bad news, then we have more bad news. Like, what do you want to hear first? Like
that dude, it sucks. I feel so bad for him. But having said that, this team, they just played the Jaguars. Okay. The Jaguars I don't know if Urban Meyer is going to make it through the entire season. Honestly, like he might quit.
How jealous were you when you saw the Steve from Blue's Clues memes where it was like Urban Meyer, hey, big news, I'm going to college, I'm out of here. Like they memed his like like I get really jealous when I see people like I don't know. I think people are just brilliant, and I'm like, man, that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
There's some things I'm like, oh my God, how did I not think of that?
So
like that's
simple.
so funny. So I think, I mean, look, you also have to take into account that Kevin Stefanski, coach of the year, he doesn't care if you play the Montessori of blind and deaf nuns or if you play the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to prepare you because week in, week out, we have seen that, yes, you can have the upsets. Teams out of nowhere can come and beat somebody because they're an NFL team. These are the best of the best. Stefanski's so good at getting his players ready and not overlooking to week 5 or week 3 of the Bears when we got week 2. So I think they're going to be ready. I think they're going to be prepared. They're going to respect their opponent. That's the most important thing. But then they're going to beat the living breaks out of their opponent. I'm telling you, it's going to be at least 17 points.
I'm a little worried. I'm a two.
Ain't the same old Browns. Ain't the same old Browns.
That is true. I do believe that they're going to be prepared. I do believe they're going to be ready. I believe we're going to look sharp for the first couple series. And I don't know. I want to win this game. I think, to be honest, I wasn't super high on Stefanski last year. I thought he got really lucky a couple times. Just in-game decisions, I question a little bit. Sure. I think he tries to do too much, a little extra. But
no. 4th and 31 and going on 4th and 31 is not extra. No, but but to his detriment. But again, he was a rookie coach last year. So those are natural things like any rookie at anything. But to be coach of the year, kind of crazy.
Yeah,
but I agree. Definitely.
I think he does a great job getting the players prepared, getting things ready. I think some in-game decisions sometimes makes me scratch my head. And I think he got really lucky a couple times last year. So we'll see. What do you have the record? Like what you predict the record will be? Do you know off the top of your head?
I've said somewhere between 12-5 and 13-4. I'm going to go probably just conservatively with 12-5 because that'll get you, that'll get you in the playoffs, especially, this year. But for them to win the division, they probably have to go 13-4. Although I don't know, because I look, the Ravens and the Browns are going to be the two best teams. Yes, the Steelers beat the Bills. I don't know how the hell that happened. It was more so the Bills than the Steelers. But Ben Roethlisberger statistically was the worst quarterback week 1.
Well, I think the Ravens lost a lineman during the game. So, dude, I don't even know. I don't know if the Ravens are going to win 7 games, dude. I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think the Bengals are going to be good. I don't think the Steelers. I think their defense might be dude. I don't know if another team in the division is going to win more than 9 games.
Wow.
I know Tomlin has this, like, I haven't had a losing record or been below 500. I think they're going to be close this week. I think the Ravens, it's just, they're having this season from hell. I think they're just super unlucky. And dude, they lost their backup running back and their top corner in back-to-back plays. And then I'm fairly certain that they lost a lineman. Which, by the way,
they've lost 3 running backs, by the way.
Yeah.
They've lost 3.
Oh my gosh. Is Jedrick Wills, is he playing? I honestly haven't heard yet.
They don't know. He's week to week right now. So he might, I feel like he might play this week, but I think he'll play week 3, which is very fortunate. But Chris Hubbard, I think, was left tackle, and he played. He went up against Chris Jones a lot, which he's a stud. And I think that was Kansas City's defensive strategy: is we can't stop the Browns. We're just gonna throw Chris Jones and hope he makes a dynamic play. But next man up did a great job.
Yeah, he did. It was great to see the Browns back in action. Man, you wait all summer and all this anticipation, and we couldn't have had a better start to the game. It was remarkable. Love the Hail Mary at the end. Chubb Hunt as advertised. Baker played an excellent game. It's great to see Schwartz. Our rookies played out. Our Greg Newsome had an awesome debut at corner. I feel like the Chiefs
Denzel Ward killed it. Yeah, and I want to say another thing too. I think some people have overlooked a little bit. David Njoku is our best tight end, and that dude was about to, you crossed the trade last year. He's going to get a contract extension with the Browns. He played exceptionally well, and it was one of the highest graded tight ends after week 1. So
we talked about this. So on the Orange is Oranger, before I fully gave it over to Holly, we talked about in the preseason about how Stefanski's culture has kind of changed his attitude. And it just kind of speaks to like how he coaches. And I think we talked about with Jason Lloyd from The Athletic. I wasn't the biggest Njoku fan, but he impressed me last year and he made plays. He made plays on Sunday. So I don't want to start 0-2. I don't want the lowly Texans to come into Cleveland.
I think that's the natural thing that, like, as a Browns fan, to be like, we have to expect the worst because we've seen the worst. We experienced it for 2 decades, like PTSD. I will say, 1, you do need to respect your opponent. The Browns will do that. But 2, the Houston Texans are not the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's also true.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a different week, and it's at home. And I don't know. There's just something about it.
Well, the place is going to be.
Tweet. Yeah, I put out a tweet. Sorry to interrupt you. I put out a tweet. I said, if the Browns beat the Texans, I'm swimming a mile in Lake Erie. So I'm anticipating to swim a mile in Lake Erie.
Bro, I just don't want to see a red line. Sir Yacht kills himself doing a Brown stunt. Dude, like, that's a long time to swim, bro.
It is a long time. Somebody's got to do it. I guess it's got to be me because
no one has to do it. Why a mile?
Now I have to.
Well, hey, I'm glad we have you on before you died. Sir Yacht, thank you so much.
The last show.
Coming on the show. That does it for this episode of the Chase Smith Podcast. Thank you all so much for downloading and listening. Shouts to the Press Play Podcast Network for making this possible. Follow us online at Press Play Pods. Visit our website at pressplaypodcast.com to keep up with all of our shows and network news. Shouts to Sir Yacht. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Great getting to know you a little bit. And dude, keep grinding, man. Love the grind, love the hustle, and just keep it up, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. All right, man. Thanks. Take care.